What is the worst Final Fantasy?
I had to stop playing it because I was so bored.
I teamed up with David Vink to figure it out.
I'm just saying that you're wrong.
Things got a little heated.
I hate it. I won't play it. I hate it.
And I died. So here is how it all went down.
David.
Hey. I already messed up.
David.
Jake. Okay.
Okay. So the way we're gonna do these rankings, David, is we're gonna only put things in the middle categories, and then we'll move one down to worst and one down to best. So our first game is Final Fantasy I, which I guess is just Final Fantasy. They didn't call World War I World War.
They call it the Great War.
The Great War is Selma and World War II is Patty. What do you think of it?
I loved it. I first played it in 3rd grade. One of my favorites.
Daddy's old.
Young bitch. I really, really, really thoroughly enjoy it because I love replay value.
I've played through it once, and not the original. I played through it on the Pixel Remaster. The Pixel Remaster will be the lens through which I see this.
How old are you?
20.
Yeah.
I'm 21. I'm sorry. I'm coming clean.
You are of drinking age.
I drank a lot, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
I always swallow that drink. So, spitters are... We're gonna move on from that. I really like Final Fantasy I. It had the foundation of a job system. While the jobs were pretty rigid, sometimes a little bit of rigidity is good for these types of games to have defined classes. So combat-wise, for me, I think it's an 8 out of 10.
Oh, you really like it? Like we were about to fight.
No.
Because I thought you were gonna say, I played through it once, only Pixel Remastered, I hated it. I will take an 8. It's fantastic. I've played through it on the NES, I played through it on PlayStation 1, I played through it on the Game Boy Advance with Dawn of Souls, I played through it with the Pixel Remastered.
Glutton for punishment right here.
No, it's such a good game!
I'm the challenge runner.
Have you done it with 4 white mages?
No.
You should do it with 1 white mage.
I'm woke and white, so I have to use at least one black person. Right? It wasn't a good joke, was it?
No, none of your jokes are good. He's been with me for 2 days now. I've been suffering with this one. Jokes after jokes after jokes after jokes. I want to strangle you.
Please take pity on David Vink and go subscribe to his channel. I won't, but you should. What about story? What would you give it for story?
It doesn't really have much of a story. It had the 4 fiends, it had the 4 crystals, it had the basics, the building blocks.
And it had Matoya.
First and last appearance of Matoya.
Gone but not forgotten. I would give it a 6 out of 10 for story.
The story isn't the best. It's an NES game. I'm gonna judge it based upon its time, and it did have a good story, so I'm gonna give it an 8 for the story. I would give it a love or a like.
I think like is where I would put it.
I'd probably give it a love.
Let's save our love, and we can always move it up if we don't have anything better.
That's true.
We probably won't have anything better.
Probably not, especially this next game.
Our next game is Final Fantasy II, and I'm sensing that this is not going to go very well.
No, for everything that I love about Final Fantasy I, Final Fantasy II sucks. It takes everything that just threw it all out the window. Like, oh, great gameplay. No, we don't want that. Job classes? No, we don't want that. Progression and leveling up that makes sense? We don't want that.
In case you've ever played Final Fantasy II, if you use MP, your MP levels up. If you get hit by attacks, your HP levels up. Strike with a weapon, your strength levels up. I don't love that system.
It was actually designed and created by the creator of the Saga series, who went on to create the Final Fantasy Legend on the Game Boy, Saga 1. But
She thinks she's a historian.
More than you. My major was history.
I'm proudly stupid. You think you're smart.
I never said that. You should have seen us set up this doohickey right here because I was useless.
I asked him if we had an audio jack. He started loudly.
Oh my God. Are you cutting all this? Holy crap.
I will probably not cut my joke. I will probably cut anything you say that's inappropriate. You're the straight man.
I am.
Ish.
Bruh.
I've been out longer than you.
It's hard when you just turn 90 for me to be out longer, right?
Final Fantasy II, it's just terrible. And even in the remakes, they never really made it all that better. The most efficient way of leveling up is to disequip your characters and then just like attack each other and ignore the enemies.
The remaster does have one nice thing, which is they make it so that you can gain HP just by winning battles. You can also speed up the leveling.
Hey, instead of playing this for 20 hours, you only have to play it for maybe 10. So therefore it's better because it's less torture.
So what would you give it for combat out of 10?
0.
I would say the combat system is a 2 out of 10. It has substance. I just don't like that substance. So I actually think the story is okay. The keyword system where you learn keywords, it wasn't really a puzzle. It was just like, have you talked to the right person?
And people go on and on and on about how great the story was. I can't tell you anything about the story. I don't know, you're Wild Rose and you're attacking Palmecia.
A lot of it feels rushed.
Just a nightmare.
So I would give the story a 4 out of 10.
I'm just giving it like a 1. I don't like it. Hate.
Easy hate. And if it's your favorite game, I just want to let you know that you're wrong.
Anyway, Final Fantasy III.
I really like Final Fantasy III. In terms of combat, it's the first game that truly has a changeable job system. I like that flexibility, but they've created some rigidity by making the job levels actually pretty important to your power level. So for me, it's actually an 8 out of 10.
Each iteration of it has only gotten better. The NES version of the game made it so that you really couldn't change jobs at all because it had a capacity point system. It purposely made you waste your points so that you couldn't utilize the jobs that you wanted to utilize, such as the mini dungeon, the Toad dungeon where you had to be black mages, the Garuda fight where you had to be a dragoon. Then they got rid of the capacity point system with the DS version of the game. He doesn't know because he's young.
21.
Young and dumb and full of, yeah.
Blackjack.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Pixel Remaster version because I do feel like that would be what more people would be playing at this moment.
9 out of 10 for combat. I don't find the story incredibly robust, but I find it better than 2. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 for story.
Anything's better than 2. And you have guest characters that join up with you. I'm gonna give it a 5. Save the 4 crystals, fight the 4 fiends.
Overall, I like it more than I like 1.
Yes, I agree. There's more to it. There's a much more robust job system. Let's put it up in love.
Final Fantasy IV. This is one of my favorites. Story-wise, has one of the best stories in the series. You have a very clearly delineated main character who has a lot of really meaningful rigidity, but then also flexibility once he becomes a paladin. Sorry, spoilers. And you have a cast of 5.
The only one that gave you 5.
Each person had a circumscribed role. Those roles contributed to the story. You have Cecil, who's Dark Knight to Paladin, and his transformation is a turning point not only for his character, but for the story as a whole and for his combat stuff. And that kind of immersion is, for me, what makes Final Fantasy games fantastic. For me, it's a 9 out of 10 for story.
I thoroughly enjoy the story. It changed my life as a kid. Well, there's some annoying NES bullshit.
Wasn't it SNES?
No, it was SNES.
SNES.
No one calls an anagram, like if it's an anagram.
A GIF.
Super NES. No.
A ping. I don't call it a ping, I call it a P.
You're a doctor. How many anagrams do you know? And you always spell out the letters.
Not always. TAVR. We say TAVR for TAVR. Total aortic valve replacement.
I'm just saying that you're wrong.
In my relationship, I'm used to being wrong, so this is nothing new for me.
Good. I'm glad.
This is an easy love for me.
Yes.
And combat, I give it actually a 9.
I love the combat. I love the active turn-based battle system. Just everything about it.
So I'm gonna put it in love.
Oh, 100%.
Final Fantasy V.
This is my favorite Final Fantasy.
Interesting.
It is. It's my favorite one of all time. The story is incredibly lighthearted. It doesn't take itself too seriously. The job classes are all balanced. You can create all sorts of challenges. So much fun.
In terms of combat, that's a 10 for you. I think it's a 9 for me. I appreciate the flexibility of a job system, and we'll talk about this again later with other games. I like a little bit of rigidity. The one thing I love about this job system more than 3 is that you can put different job skills on your other jobs. And I think it made a huge difference.
Night and day. So 3 is great with his job system, but 5 just perfected it.
So would you say 5 is a love for you?
Yes.
Okay, I think it's a love for me as well.
Everybody would agree that 5 is better than 3.
Maybe 3 should go down to like. Let's do that now. Yeah. Next is 6.
I love it. I honestly didn't like it back then as a kid as much as I liked 1 and 4. However, it has grown on me so much. The reason why I didn't like it that much was because it introduced what I like to call everyone can do everything, which drives me up the frickin' wall.
To be fair, Final Fantasy V did the exact same thing.
No, but this one kind of, but there was still that rigidity of the job class system. Everybody can learn every single magic spell with all the magicite, but also it had overpowered characters, which bothered me, like Edgar could pretty much just massacre everything in the world of balance. And then you look at his special ability compared to somebody like Celeste, and her special ability sucks.
So for battle, what would you put this out of 10?
Maybe a 7.
I actually love this battle system. I agree that my issue with the battling system is the interchangeability of all the characters. I did beat this game with only Terra, and I will link that video in the description. The abilities for me that they have are unique enough to give each character an interesting niche. I like the fact that Edgar has tools. Terra can morph into One Piece Space
Esper.
Princess. Yeah, that. For me, it's a 9 in terms of combat.
The story, I would give it like a 10 out of 10.
Story is a 10 for me.
The best story, probably in the entire series.
It has some of the best characters, certainly.
Everybody's unique. There's no anime tropes walking around.
The Esper system played into the story very well. Having the Espers be combat items as well as basically people added a level of suffering. It made me feel angsty when I had to equip one of them. I didn't like that feeling that I was equipping like a dead thing. Seeing Shiva get tossed off of a conveyor belt and discarded like an old rag was soul crushing. Seeing Sid, well, he doesn't have to die, but he always died when I played because I couldn't figure out that damn minigame.
The minigame is terrible.
Make sure you put a get good in the comments for me there, because that's clearly my fault. For me, it's a clear love.
Final Fantasy VII did try to do something similar to that with its materia system. However, it didn't have that same emotional impact. It talked about how it was pieces of the planet, so it was trying to give you some sort of emotional impact, but it wasn't as impactful as watching Kefka go in and turn all these Espers into Magicite. It's tear-jerking.
The thing that I like about the combat system is how many different options you have and how the combat gets a lot more interesting once you have those. Character interchangeability is at its maximum in this game, and that is bothersome to me.
This is another everyone can do everything.
I'm also really thankful that no characters die in this game.
None whatsoever.
No.
None.
You get to keep your entire party for the entire game, which is something I've always appreciated.
Yeah, especially whenever they don't give, 8 different melee users and then only 1 caster.
For combat, I actually give it a 9 out of 10.
Even though it isn't everyone can do everything, I still always gave everybody a job class. Tifa was the monk. Cloud was like my paladin. Yuffie was the ninja. Did you create like a notepad or a notebook that said, Cloud is allowed to equip these materials. Tifa is allowed to equip these materials.
I think you're a little bit more fastidious than I am.
I'm very anal about my RPGs.
I'm just very anal.
I'm gonna give this a love.
I will also give it a love.
Okay, I'm gonna let you start on this one.
I'm gonna be fair and balanced here. Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite Final Fantasy, and it is not the best Final Fantasy.
This is your Fox News Fair and Balanced?
I said it's not the best.
I think it's one of the worst, if not the worst.
I actually appreciate the flexibility, and I appreciate the different ways that you can break the game without even battling.
That's the problem with it. Like, it's just so broken. You're not supposed to level up.
What I love about it is the replayability of the junction system. I've done a ton of challenges at this game on my channel. I've done it without healing.
I need to watch that video.
Oh, it was fun.
It wasn't like nightmare-inducing.
Oh, it was nightmare. You all are here for suffering. Mainly David's today.
You're gonna get some suffering tonight.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Get out those whips and chains.
I love whips and chains.
They excite me. Anyway,
8.5 out of 10 objectively for combat for me.
Ugh. No. So you can play this game by just playing triple triad, or you could draw.
After that game, I was an artist.
Nightmare, I hated it. But then I realized, so you need to go out and get, what is it, Diablos or whatever with the no encounter ability? So it actively doesn't want you to even play the game. That's okay, because I hate it. I won't play it. I hate it.
What do you give it for combat?
0. I hate it.
How about story?
0. I hate it.
Really?
I hate it.
I love the story of this game. They're immortal sorcerers.
Whatever.
Somehow you have to drain their powers away to have them die.
Whatever.
It's fantastic to me. I give it a 9.
Go talk to a wall.
Whatever. I think you hate it enough.
I'd say meh.
I will put it into meh. That is not my rating for it.
It's not my rating either. I don't think it's meh.
We are compromising, which is something I've never done before.
He's a very selfish bottom. Final Fantasy IX. Back to the basics. Love it.
Final Fantasy IX is my favorite combat system in all of Final Fantasy. You have these rigid systems, but you have 8 characters, so you have a ton of options.
It's back to like the Final Fantasy IV. Every character has their own job class.
I'd love it if Dagger were a little more talkative midway through the game.
Useless.
That being said, for me the combat system is a 10 out of 10.
I'm not gonna give it a 10 out of 10, simply because the combat system is just slow. You know what I'm talking about. Pan over here, everybody's jumping up and down. Let's get to the point, people.
The story, oh god, the story is a 10 out of 10 for me. And the reason, I mentioned Garnet and her silent phase, that is an immersive combat mechanic that feeds into the story super well. She's battling her demons. Those demons killed her mom, by the way, and it's her demons, literally her demons.
And a lot of the times they'll say that a character is going through some sort of mental anguish, but that won't go into the combat, but it did here.
It's a show don't tell, like you and your butt at the club last night.
I don't know what he's talking about.
He likes to show off.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a love.
I'm also giving it a love. We're moving on to Final Fantasy X.
I didn't like Final Fantasy X.
Interesting.
A lot of people did, because I think a lot of people got into the Final Fantasy with Final Fantasy X, and it's PS2, and it's so good. Oh, look at you in a dance, and the eye physics, and the hair physics. It's so linear. It's a hallway simulator. Everybody wants to complain and say that Final Fantasy XIII is the hallway simulator. No, ma'am. It started at Final Fantasy X.
The thing is, you can go backwards.
A little bit.
You get to the Calmlands, you can literally go back to every area that you've been to capture monsters.
Can, but there's no fast travel, and you can go back to Vicinity.
Yes, you can.
Can you?
You can take a boat back to Besaid. Don't buy a boat. Don't do it! Story-wise, what is your ranking?
6.
For me, it is a 9 out of 10. Blitzball for me is a total serve.
I don't think I've ever won a single Blitzball game in Final Fantasy X.
Some of us are good with balls and some of us have issues.
not only was the game a hallway simulator to me, but I felt like the combat system, I feel like it's very rock, paper, scissors. You have a flyer, you bring out Waka. You have a hard enemy, you bring out Oran. It's annoying. In order for your characters to gain AP, they have to participate in combat. So before you bring out your particular rock, paper, scissors character, you have to bring out the other 4 characters, have them do some action of some sort, and then bring out the people who actually kill the monsters. Every single freaking battle.
And for me, combat for that reason gets an 8 out of 10.
I'd bring it to a 4.
You should play this game without the sphere grid and just watch
Never
Riku go.
done that before.
Oh, it is so fun.
Is it?
Well, you wouldn't find it fun.
I'd probably have to sit there and summon every single battle.
But where would you put this game, David?
I'd put it as a meh.
For me, it's a love, so I think that means it goes into like. Final Fantasy XI.
I don't play MMOs.
I don't play MMOs.
Bye.
Sorry, people. And don't tell me we didn't rank it. We ranked it as an MMO.
The end.
Bam.
Done.
Haters, back off.
Who was that person who said that? There was some...
Miranda, but she's canceled now. She did the apology with the mandolin.
What was she apologizing for?
Grooming? Allegedly. Allegedly. I don't know. That's what people said on the
She was woman with
interwebs.
the lipstick, right?
She had a lot of lipstick, yeah, and the red pants. Gone but not forgotten. Rest in power. Well, no, rest in peace.
For 12, are we ranking the original 12 or the Zodiac Age?
Whichever one you think is the best.
Zodiac Age. Everyone can do everything. And then I played Zodiac Age, and it's so much better. It's kind of like an action-based Final Fantasy V.
Creating some rigidity with this new job system is extremely powerful. I don't love it. Everyone can technically still do everything if you assign them to the right jobs, but for me, it is much better actually than a lot of the job systems, and I'd give it a 9 for combat.
I really enjoy the Gambit system. It's
a lot of customization.
Different. I'm gonna give it an 8. Yeah, it's different.
For story, this is not my favorite Final Fantasy story, and the reason is it doesn't seem like you're fighting a world ender, it's more of a political struggle.
It's very disjointed. You get a 5-minute cutscene of story, and then it's like, okay, have 3 hours of action, and then you get another 5 minutes, and you're like, I don't remember what happened in the last 5 minutes of story.
And also, if my name were Benargan, I'd myself. What do you rate it for story?
Low, like a 3.
I give it a 5. If you love the story of this game, I want you to tell me why. I might actually not tell you that you're wrong.
I don't know about that.
I said might.
I'm gonna give this one a like.
I'm giving it a meh. I like it less than all of these.
I like it more than 10.
You can put it at the top
a
of
lot.
meh. Next is 13.
Definition of meh.
This is the real hallway simulator.
Oh, yeah.
You can only go forward in the hallway. It is a conveyor belt. There is no backtracking. Not a huge fan of the story.
And then whenever you do get your Grand Pulse, it's pretty much just like, do these billion side quests, because we didn't have any other side quests in the rest of the game.
For story, this one gets a 4 out of 10 for me. I also feel the characters are not compelling. I'm sorry, they're not.
Most of the characters I want to smack across the face.
Party.
I'm just putting it in meh right now. We know it's meh.
like-
What do you give it for combat?
I enjoyed being able to switch job classes mid-combat, the paradigm system. I thought it was cool. I guess like a 5. Very middle of the road, meh.
I did not find it so neat. I did not like the combat in Final Fantasy XIII. I wanted control of all of my characters. I didn't like the fact that I had to switch and then watch my characters bungle their actions and there was no way to fix it.
You couldn't really control them, could you? It's been a hot minute since I played 13 because again, meh. Do I want to go back and replay it? No.
But also, goddamn Squaresoft, can you please put this game on another console? Final Fantasy XIV, MMO. Don't you dare frickin' tell me I didn't rank every Final Fantasy game. You are a liar.
Final Fantasy 15. This was the upcoming hate train that we saw.
I'm gonna be very honest. I don't like this game, and I haven't played much of it because I had to stop playing it because I was so bored. It is 4 guys driving car. It is not at all turn-based. You are just sort of whacking stuff with a sword, and if I wanted to do that, I would play, what would I play? Mario. What are the kids playing these days? Does Mario get a sword?
I don't like this one either. The best part of the game was the first 10 minutes whenever you got to see Gladiolus.
You see his butt.
Yeah, he gets to push the car. Yes, 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 yes.
You can actually go to his only glads.
Yeah, Gladdy Daddy. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm gonna give it a hate.
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 Final Fantasy XVI.
It has a lot of potential, wasted potential. Like, it's just not a Final Fantasy game. It's just not. You only control one party member. The other characters are AI. It would have been a lot better if it was more like Secret of Mana and you could control Clive or Jill or Torgal.
Everything is the same. If you hit something, it does damage. There are no elemental weaknesses. That is not what Final Fantasy means to me. So combat-wise, I give it a 4 out of 10.
I'm gonna go even lower because the main thing that people really liked about the combat are those icon battles. They took like an Sure.
There is some variability in the combat. Garuda was one of my favorites because you could actually topple things. I guess this isn't Xenoblade, but whatever.
I'm gonna give it like a 3.
For story, they did a freaking great job.
Hats off to Square Enix for not taking out the gay scene that Saudi Arabia was trying to get them to take out. I'll give them a bonus point from hate to meh, just for that.
I am actually gonna put this in meh. This might even be a like.
I can't say that 12 is a meh if 16 is a like.
I would be okay with moving this up to like. 3, 2, 1, go. You put 9. I put 6. 69. That's why we chose them, right?
Exactly.
Hey, baby, what's up? Get your paws off me, Bobby!
That's not what you said last night.
It's not. I was touching chocobos. The reason that I said 6 is mainly story related, but I do think there are some flaws in the combat system that just make 9 a better game. The lack of rigidity in 6 is actually to its detriment. So I think 9 is going into our best slot.
I love the equipment level up.
We didn't talk about skills. Amazing. Now, trolls, this is your moment. Listen carefully. This is the game that we feel is the worst. If you love this game, you have to tell us in the comments, and if I don't see the words, "you're wrong," then I'm gonna ignore your comment. If you're gonna troll, you better troll big. Thank you. 15. I don't want to have to do that. Spirit hands are very hurtful in some cultures.
No, I hate 2 because it's not a Final Fantasy game because it's a saga game.
I hate 15 because I hate the combat.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna give this one to you. You gave me 9, and let me tell you why. Both of these are terrible. However, 2 has the ability to, you can get through it quicker. The torture is over faster.
15 is our bottom bitch, and we do love a bottom. Thanks, David, for joining me for this video.
And it lasted for about 53 minutes.
I have stamina. If you love this video, I have another one for you. Watch it right there.
And if you like me, be sure to go over to my channel, David Venk, and subscribe.
Cooler than I am.
I mean, you're here in my room.
This is a nice room. Say goodbye, David.
Goodbye, David. I feel like I'm watching Sesame Street with you.
1,